there we go. We are live here at Fish, North Georgia. Welcome to the live well tonight, everybody. Hope you guys have had a great day. We appreciate you joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Click that notification bell and likes and all those little things that you do on social media. And we just appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We got a great episode. Got the mayor in town. Got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to be talking about the Toys for Tots tournament. Got some new information that I need to give out to you guys. And then we're going to talk about what's going on Lake Lanier right now. I've been talking to people since we started signing this up, wondering what the patterns are going to be this time of year when this tournament's happening. And I've talked to guys that go shallow, deep, you name it. I think it's there for everybody. So you guys make sure you bring your questions and your comments and everything, and then let's get this thing rolling. So, Tony, let's talk to talk about our fine sponsors here tonight. Of course, we always start off with Trent, the guys over at Sonar Pros. 770-530-4505, the best in the business in installing electronics. And also, too, Trent's fishing the last MPFL event coming up. Make sure you watch him and the guys fish that. And a little show note, next Tuesday evening, I've got Kyle Welcher and Drew Cook are going to be on for about 30, 45 minutes. They're both battling for Angler of the Year in the MPFL. But, of course, it's all about Trent, right? Because he's one of our sponsors, so that's who we're going to pull for. Next, we got Lip Sticker Fishing. Kevin Underwood. Guys, you see it every single day. Scott and I were just talking about it before the show. Man, we'll put you on the Megalodon spotted bass on Lake Lanier. Probably the most consistent, big spotted bass catching guide I know of out there. Of course, he can do all the sonar trips and everything. He can put you on a ton of fish if that's what you want. But if you really want to chase some trophies, check him out, lipstickerfishing.com or on Facebook. And, of course, right here in front of me, you can see the beautiful Evolve rod sleeve, the best on the market. Guys, I don't know how many of these things I am selling. I've got an order coming in, and pretty much every one of them are spoken for on the way out. The best rod sleeve on the market. Hey, they float. They protect your lure. They got the lanyards, everything. And, of course, throw it in your rod locker. The hooks from your other baits will not get stuck in them. So you love them, don't you, Kevin?
I like them. 22 of them.
Got 22 of them, the best out there. And, of course, with all the expensive baits we like to throw, you better have you a good plug knocker and the Money Saver Lure Retriever right there. Guys, the word's getting out. I'm starting to sell these things. They're moving a little faster with each week that goes on. Guys are figuring out this thing right here, it shoots through the water like a torpedo. You have no idea till you see it in action, but you want to save all these expensive baits, you got to get you a Money Saver Lure Retriever. And then, of course, if you're in the Allatoona area, the legend himself, the living legend, Mr. Bill Payne and Bill Payne's Guide Service, 706-280-2305, specializing on Lake Allatoona. He will do other lakes by request. He will do smallmouth trips seasonally. And, again, he's one of our most popular guests. The man is full of knowledge. You're going to learn something. He will do sonar trips as well. Guy's a master. So if you're on that side of the world, you definitely want to check Bill Payne out. And then, hey, our favorite up-and-coming guide on Lake Lanier right here, Brooks Anderson Fishing. Again, another one of our great guests right here. He specializes, especially if you got a high school angler or a younger angler, Brooks is really good at working with a younger angler, trying to teach them techniques and getting their journey into tournament fishing on the way. He will tell you as best as possible, I think, the patterns of spotted bass on Lake Lanier and what baits to use and why. And that's the most important thing. Check him out on Facebook or go to brooksandersonfishing.com. And again, right behind us there, as you can see, Turner Tires, 706-253-3339. If you're in the Jasper, Georgia area, even if you're not, drive over there. Tires, alignment, everything for your vehicle. And again, Brock is one of the best guys we know, and he's an angler just like us. He don't do it quite as much because them kids got him busy now. But again, a family-owned business that we love to support. So we thank all those sponsors. We got a couple more coming. Serve IT with the question of the week, and we'll talk about Fishers of Hope down the line a little bit. So with that, Bass Fishing Live. Hey, Mayor Neighbor. A lot of you guys in there. Larry Strong, the best to you right there. All these guys. Kevin is the man. Richie Rock and Roll. Go Van Halen right there every night. So good evening, everyone. Let's talk some ditches tonight. Hey, it might come up. It definitely might come up. Now, here's what we're going to do first, though. I'm going to get this news about the Toys for Tots tournament because that's what everybody's talking about right now. And then we'll bring Scott in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then, of course, we're going to try to see what kind of juice we can squeeze out of him. And, again, you guys bring it in the comment section because you guys always have it there as well. So, again, this Saturday, Toys for Tots. If you're not pre-registered, you still can register the morning of. I've probably had 15 to 20 guys tell me They're going to be registering the morning of. We're looking for a big turnout. Again, $5,000 first place prize. I delivered that prize money. Big Shanty has it. And also it's $80, 20 of that going to Big Fish. Okay. Now here is some of the things we want you to know that the Big Shanty guys told me about. Remember, one brand new toy per angler. That's what this is all about. Hall County Toys for Tots. Okay. You guys go fish, have a great time, win you a little bit of money. But at the end of the day, it's for the cause. Make sure you bring your toys. All right. Pre-registration. Registration at Laurel Park, Saturday morning, 4:45, 5 o'clock. If you haven't signed up, that's when they're going to do it. Now, blast off. If we get everybody signed up, they're going to try to do it at 6:30 if possible. So if you guys get there, get signed up, 6:30 instead of 7. And of course, that depends on whether there's fog or something. It's got to be safe. All right. So the first flight, they're going to do flights of 20. All right. First flight leaves, and it will be due back at 3. Flight number 2, 3:20. So it'll be 20-minute increments on flights coming back in. That's the way Big Shanty set it up. Now, one thing, too, a lot of you guys got your own way bags. They've got Tony with BASS coming. He's going to have his trailer set up. He's requesting that you use his bag. So when you get your boat out and you're trailered up, one of the anglers come over to the bass tank right there. They're going to hand you one of his bags for you to bring your fish up, and then both anglers can bring their fish up to the tanks, okay? And then again, we're going to be running our podcast just to the side. The what's that seat called? The hot seat when the leader's in it.
Mm-hmm.
The hot seat. So the hot seat's going to be right beside me, and so we're going to be talking. We're going to go live at 2. We'll interview some of the Marines and the sponsors, talk about the event. But once it starts, we're going to be talking about the guys as they come across, looking at these weights. If you're the leader, you're going to be sitting right beside me. So yeah, we got the hot seat going. So now a couple other things. Bring you some extra money, okay? Bring you some cash. Because we've got a very fine lady named Maria who's going to be there that morning selling coffee and sausage biscuits. And I believe she might even stay all day as well. So, hey, don't stop by the McDonald's. Come help her out. Get you some food right there. The coffee will be good and hot. Etowah Church is going to have a tent set up at the weigh-in. And they're going to have snacks like trail mix, chips, protein bars, bottled water, soft drinks. That's to help fundraise for their youth trip that they want to take. So help them guys out right there. And we're also going to have a raffle. We got a lot of smaller prize packs. I'm going to bring a couple rods and some things there. Now, these raffle tickets are going to go $2 per ticket, $6 or 6 for $10. So $2 per ticket, 6 for 10. And that's going to be for your general items out there. And I think Danny Purdue's watching. Danny, if I'm incorrect in that, you could please correct me in the comment section. But we also have a really big prize, and this is cool, okay? Big Cedar Ranch, located in Cedartown, Georgia, called me up the other day, wanted to help sponsor the event. And I said, well, it's kind of late in the game, but we are doing a raffle. Would you be interested in doing that? They're going to raffle away a guided quail trip, half-day guided quail trip for up to 3 guys. It gets you 20 quail per guy or woman. Also transportation and the dogs, I guess, to go fetch the quail when you shoot. This is a $1,300 value. Okay, $1,300 value. The raffle tickets for that prize are $10. And let me make sure I give you the right information. $10 per ticket. Or for $100, you get 12. Now, I'm telling you what, for the chance to go quail hunting and all that, especially in the North Georgia area, that is very, very cool. And, of course, we appreciate Big Cedar stepping up, just wanting to help out the cause. So, guys, bring you some cash. Get you some biscuits and coffee in the morning. Get you some chips and soda. Help out Etowah Church in the afternoon. Take a chance on getting raffle tickets. The raffle, I believe, is going to be held right after the weigh-in. So we'll be doing the weigh-in. You can buy tickets. I would assume, I don't know, Danny and them, if you're going to sell them early in the morning, but when you guys get back, we'll do that. We'll have the weigh-in. We'll give away the money. Then we'll do the raffles and all that. So he says everything I said is correct right there. Again, guys, this is going to be a hell of an event. There are some, the types of anglers that are coming is across the spectrum. You got guys that don't tournament fish that are coming. You got guys like, you got your meals and all that are going to be there. So you got your heavy hitters. But I'm telling you what, the way Lake Lanier, Okay, AM and afternoon up to the weigh-in for the raffle tickets. You just got a wide variety. And what's really cool about this is you got the entire community coming together. And right now I'm going to go ahead before even I get Scott on here. And I'm going to thank him because Scott, if you guys follow it, they run once, sometimes twice a month, the what I like to say the most popular open tournament on Lanier. And he had a tournament scheduled that day and called him up and asked him, said, hey, listen, I would love if you could get your guys to come to this event. And without hesitation, he said, absolutely. So, Scott, thank you very much for doing that on behalf of Big Shanty and Fish North Georgia and the Toys for Tots. So, we're bringing your anglers over. You don't know what that means.
No, we totally support it, and there would have been no different answer.
And I knew that.
Yeah, and everything you said about the tournament, I think is great. But our guys, and it's the same folks, and we're all willing to help because of the cause. And the cause is for the kids right now, and those that are less fortunate, and everybody realize that the tournament's not about really fishing and winning that event, and it's to help somebody out and have a big heart and do that.
It is. And anytime you do something good like that, guys, it just makes you feel better. It just makes you feel better. And again, if you've been watching the Fish North Georgia group page last couple of days, I've been throwing out the sponsors. I have more. The rest of them I'm going to be putting out there tomorrow. And so, listen, a lot of these are local companies. All right. They came out and supported us in our time for this. You guys show them some love, support them as well. So, going to be a great event. It's going to be cold.
Yes.
It's going to be cold. So, we'll talk about that as well, too. But just out of curiosity, what do you think it's going to take to win it? Because I've talked to a few guys. I know what they think.
Yeah, I think you'll have a couple of 23-pound bags.
That's right in the ballpark area. 23.58 and 23.72 are what the two guys I talked to today said. I said, it wouldn't shock me if you had a 24.2, something like that.
It's highly possible, without a doubt. I mean, we all know how Lanir is and the quality that there, but you're going to have 20 pounds stacked.
Yes.
You're going to have deep into the weigh-in line.
Yeah.
Top 15, maybe 20. You'll have 20-pound bags.
Yeah, and
it's that time of year.
It is.
And
go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
And you can catch fish. I do want to add and just kind of get some confirmation. I got a little confused about the takeoff time because 6:30 is pitch black. Dark.
Is it still pitch black? Okay.
It's dark.
Then they're going to do 7.
So maybe he can chime in and kind of give us the formal weigh-in registration time and then takeoff.
Yeah, so that's what has been said for the most part. And I got a note today from him saying 6:30, but I do think probably it's going to be safe light.
Still need to get there early enough. Make sure
100%
you're registered. Come up and do everything there. But
yeah,
7:05, 7:10 is probably safe light.
Okay, so there we go. So that's what we'll do. And of course, that's safety first. Now, another thing too, before we get talking about the actual fishing, if you're watching tonight and you're not in the tournament, or you got family or something, I want to encourage you 2 things. First of all, go buy a couple of toys just for the cause. The Marines will be there collecting the toys. Come by, drop the toys off, and stay and watch the weigh-in. You do not have to fish to participate in this event, okay? So you don't have to fish. Again, it's for what it's about. It's about the kids. It's about the toys. And I'd love you guys, hey, bring your family out, invite your wife and kids to come watch the weigh-in if it's convenient for them, and just make this a big event because I really believe if we can impress it just right, Big Shanty is going to do this. This is going to become an annual event for those guys. So safe light, depending on fog for folks that would be in the water, and just be ready by 6:45, but we're not going to blast you off until that right time.
A couple things too, real quick, is that I think that this can grow without a doubt.
Yeah.
You got 44 pre-registered, and I think you'll probably have at least 20 that'll come up and sign tomorrow. I'm one of those that'll come up and sign.
I would guess if not 30 to 40.
Yeah, so if we get 80 boats plus, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
The other thing is, at each one of my tournaments, I provide $500 from our sponsors. They give us cash money.
Yep.
And we give that money out to placements in my weigh-in line from the sponsor money. I called each of them up and told them that I was canceling the event, and knowing that I had their money, I wanted to get their blessing to, donate that for the Toys for Tots. And they, without hesitation, Anglin Insurance, Meagle Chevrolet, Elevation Building Company, Sonar Pros, Georgia Blade.
Yep.
All 5 of them said without a doubt buy the toys. So me and Clay contributed as well on this. So we've got about $600 worth of toys that we've bought. And I think it's like 33 gifts that we're bringing to the registration. And that is from sponsorships from this community because they want to lend a hand with this event.
That is good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. We actually got a box here. They gave me a box. So I've got a full box of toys here from just people coming by and dropping off. But like, again, don't let that discourage you. Come out. We will make sure we get you all done so you can go home and watch Georgia beat Texas. Okay. It's going to flow. So we're going to make sure Georgia's going to beat Texas again.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. I'm confident of it.
We'll see.
Kaz Anderson called me up today and goes, "What time's weigh-in?" Because his buddy got 2 tickets to that championship game. I said, "Kaz, I'll get you in and out, baby. We got you handled. We understand that." But he's still coming. You got guys like Kaz coming down and all that. So there's people from Hartwell coming down from out of state. I know there's a few out of staters that are coming in. So it's going to be a great event. And again, yeah, thank you to your sponsors for doing that and allowing you to buy toys for the kids and all that. So that's just good stuff. I mean, it's got to make you feel good.
It does.
Sunrise, by the way, is 7:30 on Saturday.
Oh, you know what? It is. It's moving later every day.
7:30.
Well, we'll just make sure that it's safe, and I'm sure they'll adjust accordingly.
I was watching deer in my backyard about 7:15. I could barely see them. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do that. So, but again, hey, so listen, guys, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. And again, invite your family and friends to the weigh-in and have them bring toys. That's what it's all about. So with that said, if there are any other questions about the tournament, please definitely put it in the comment section. But you guys bring some cash. Again, we're going to help Maria out with them biscuits, Etowah Church with their fundraiser too. And then you guys take a chance. I would love to be in your group if you win that quail hunting thing. So have you ever been quail hunting?
Nope.
I ain't either.
Never have.
My grandfather liked it, but I've always wanted to do that. So good stuff. So now let's talk about the tournament itself. First of all, let's go ahead and cover some safety stuff. It's going to be cold as hell. So dress accordingly.
Absolutely.
Dress accordingly. And we talked about, well, let me read Ron said, we see so much bad in the world now. You see all these people doing a good thing for this tournament. It's so nice to see some decent people left in the world. I do it because I'm a heathen and I'm trying to gain points with the big guy upstairs. So like that. What are you doing?
Interest in the quail.
In the quail?
There we go. Got 12 tickets right there. 100.
There we go.
We got 3 guys.
That comes
That's right.
Hey,
That'd be
listen,
awesome, wouldn't it?
Is that from your gambling money?
That would be no. Not last week.
That would be no. Pull up Philip right there. Philip Hutchison. Quail hunting is fun, Danny. Get on the skeet range first, though, even, y'all. Listen, I've been deer hunting forever, and them deer ain't scared of my shot. Mm-mm. But anyway, so it's going to be cold. Going to be cold. Scott and I kind of mentioned, too, safety. You're coming out of Laurel. You're going down through the chute. Definitely be safe when you're doing all that. And life jackets. Make sure you got your life jackets, all your safety equipment. You guys know that stuff, but it just bears saying, hey, we don't want any accidents. We want you guys to have fun. And I don't want to be in the news for nothing, but they had a hell of an event. So that's that. Wonder if you can trade a quail hunt for a turkey hunt. I don't know if they got it. We'll talk to Mr. McClure, who was kind enough to do that. So Discover Bass Adventure. If you fish, hunt in the winter, highly recommend everyone getting a rechargeable USB hand warmer. Keeps those fingertips warm.
I do want to add something about safety.
Yeah.
I just remembered it and I haven't brought it up, but we during our events from now through like February, we've hit a couple that were really cold, and we discovered, and a lot of people will already probably start commenting on it, and it's important to probably do this. The ramps are going to freeze over. And so you got a lot of money tied in that and safety. I highly recommend to get some rock salt and sand. Yeah. And it's going to be work on whoever's doing it because you're going to need some folks to do it. But what happens is as, the boat trailers into the water and then starts to pull out, slow down, kind of let it drip. Okay. Yes. Let it kind of drip, not 20 minutes, but enough to not leave a path going back up, because when that hits that concrete and you got 28 degrees, We hope it doesn't freeze, but it's possible.
Always
it
a
will,
chance.
Right? There's a chance.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is netting fish. Your boat's going to have spray from the water making the runs. Your ice rod's going to freeze over, but the deck of that top of that boat on that fiberglass can freeze. You can make a step by netting a fish with 1 foot and fall your ass in the water. So have that life jacket on, man.
Even the carpet can freeze.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, there you go. Again, we're all about safety here.
Yeah.
All about safety. Jeffrey Johnson wants to know, what time will you start podcasting? 2:00. Give or take a minute, 2:00. And then, like I said, we're going to interview some of the Marines and if some of the sponsors are there, and we'll do that. And then we're going to be commentating and having a hot seat throughout the weigh-in right there. So planning on getting some salt and sand and what Scott said on pulling the trailer out. So, yeah, a lot of people don't think about that. They
Turn
just
your
want to get out of
lights
the way.
off. That's my biggest
Oh,
pet peeve.
Lord,
Turn
yes.
your lights off or either put them in the dim mode or parking
At
lights
least.
when you back
Lights.
in.
Yeah.
There's plenty of space there too to it's quick to get in and out.
Oh yeah, that is. You know what? I think that causes more arguments
Yeah.
at a
You
tournament.
can't see.
No,
You can't see, and bless, there's always that one guy.
Yeah.
Don't be that one guy. Cut your lights off right there. So, all right. So let's see. That's a good point. Don't want to be on the news with a truck in the lake as well. Yeah. So just got to be careful. But hey, I think it's going to go absolutely flawless. At least that's what I hope. We will have people there to fizz fish. We're going to double check them before they get put out. We got volunteers. You anglers are not going to have to run and dump your own fish. We're going to have people that will do that for you, so you can hang around and watch the weigh-ins. And again, it's going to go smooth. I absolutely believe that. So let's talk about Lanier.
Yep.
Let's talk about Lanier.
A lot going on.
Good
man.
Lord.
There's a lot going on. You can catch them different
That's
ways, different depths.
See, that's the thing is guys are coming in the shop. You got one guy, he's talking about crankbaiting on the rocks with the rock crawler, similar style baits. They're beating the banks or catch them. You got another guy throwing a shaky head. You got your guys going deep, so I don't really know what pattern is going to emerge as the winning pattern. But what are you doing, Scott? Just let's get your game plan.
Man,
I think you're right
I'm
there.
lost, man. But I'll spill the beans on a 17-pound bag because that's all that I can catch.
Jeez.
It seems like, man, it's mind-boggling to me how Lanier continues to dump out the heavyweights, and we're in that time of year that you're going to see them stacked, and 20-pound bags are going to be common, right? So that always amazes me and Clay on the boat because we need a lot of luck on our side to win a tournament, and we gravitate to that 20-foot to the bank finesse fishing. It's worm, it's jig, and it's rock, and that's what I plan to do. Not saying that, and I'll get into what I saw last week, but I can't find any quality. We will jump out deep as well, but I don't want to get sucked in. And that's what we do a lot of times. You'll drop the trolling motor in 55 feet of water in a ditch or what have you, and you'll see fish everywhere, and you'll spoon a couple, and maybe they're 2 3/4 or what have you. And in my mind and in Clay's mind, maybe we need to work through them and we'll catch a big one.
Yes.
What's funny is we talk about the old saying, don't leave fish to find fish. Well, guess what? You need to leave those fish, in my opinion. And you get sucked into it so long, and you'll go to another ditch, and with the quantity of fish that we have and how they're stacking up now deep, you'll see numbers of schools, and you'll have to peck around and try to find a big one. I think a lot of these winning bags, a lot of the bigger weights are going to be a combo of shallow and deep fish.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
But me and Clay is going to be 20 foot to the bank primarily 90% of the day. And that's about it.
You know what I'm going to find interesting is to see how many guys make the run all the way south and how many guys stay on the north end of the lake and fish for the largemouth. And there are largemouth down on the south end. They are there. But I know I've talked to quite a few guys that have come in here and they're like, I'm not making that long run. I'm going to stay up in the rivers and I'm going to go. Now, remember, guys, $20 of every entry fee goes towards big fish. You luck up and get a 6-7 pound largemouth or a 5.5 pound spot, you got a chance to win a chunk of change.
80 boats, 1,600. So, I mean,
yeah,
quick, right?
Yeah, it will go. So, And then plus, yeah, it won't be quite as cold for those guys running down south. But now
That's the other thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about that when I walked in, man. 28 degrees and running from Laurel to the dam or Browns Bridge.
we're too old for that
Man,
shit.
I swear we are. It's
That wind
brutal.
chill
I get
factor's
brittle,
gotta be
man. My
single
hands
digits.
don't work anymore.
Yeah,
Literally, it's pretty rough. But yeah.
I
That's
remember.
single digit wind chill factor.
Oh yeah,
Running at
what is
65,
the?
70
Yeah, that's what I'm
mile an
saying.
hour.
What is the wind chill at 65 mile an hour on a 28-degree morning?
It's got to be single
There
digit.
could be some busted motors
Woo.
too, man.
Jeremy Cross, can you fish this tournament solo coming from Lake Chateau? You looking forward to it? Yes, you can.
Bring a toy.
Yeah, bring a toy. Yeah, I'm sure it's just $80. But yeah, bring a toy. So that we would love to have you down there. Make sure you come by and introduce yourself to me. Yeah, I can remember the first time that I saw a guy in a motorcycle helmet in a boat. And I thought, this is honest to God, I thought, man, this driver must be dangerous. I was thinking it was more for safety. That is one of the smarter things you can do
Yeah.
in the cold.
No
I'm gonna
doubt.
have mine.
Huh? You gonna have
I'm
yours?
gonna have
No
mine.
doubt.
Yeah, Tony's gonna be fishing it. Lipsticker, hey Danny boy, what's up, Mr. Mayor?
What's up?
Yeah, and it is just cold at that point. But I do find that all the runs will be cool, but it's that first one in the morning. If you can survive it and get to fishing, mentally you warm up a little bit as well. But I'm like you, my fingers at my age, I know even when it's warm, because I did heating and air for so long,
Right.
I got the little carpal tunnel that I probably should have got fixed, that my hands are going numb and I'll just have to stop for a second. And now you throw cold on it,
Mm-hmm.
cold
Wet,
on
wet.
it, and wet.
Yeah,
So,
I don't like getting into live well culling fish. and
good.
culling
Now
degrees,
that's
man.
yeah. Okay, well let me ask you.
But
this.
I do it because Clay's like, he's not going.
Okay, that's what I was getting at to ask like that. That's why I try to fish with guys younger than me. Yeah. That way I can boss them around like you do that back there. So, what do you think? Percentage wise, how many? What would be shocking to you or not shocking to you of the amount that stays north as opposed to going down south? Because I think honestly, in a lot of people's minds, down south, bigger fish, but the largemouth guys are going to stay a little bit north. The bigger spots are down south, so it's that game. I mean, how many do you think will stay? I mean,
20% max.
will stay up.
Yeah, I really think 80% of the boats will go down south.
Then when you say down south, we talking mid lake and
Yeah,
farther
I'm
and down.
talking about cut off at Duckett Mill, from that area
Yeah.
south of the bridge.
Okay.
Kind of mid to south.
The face masks at Hammond's helps too. So Hammond's has got some of them face masks. And again, Hammond's a great local tackle shop. Go support them, give them some love. Tell them they owe me a commission. Get Some Fishing has a question.
Yeah.
If you're fishing shallow from the bank, what would be the best time of day usually this time of year?
Well, I mean, primarily to me, I think a morning bite is a shallow bite. But that's me thinking, you got these young kids that may start off deep and, they know how to do that.
Yeah.
But shallow to us, first thing in the morning is definitely our better bite.
I would say when I'm out throwing a rock crawler.
Right now, that's right now.
Yeah,
As things progress with extreme cold, a lot of sun later in the day, do not pass up a shallow bite, from
Right.
noon to 3 o'clock. I
Yeah.
mean, because there could be some giants up there.
If I'm out right now and I'm cranking, throwing a rock crawler, something like that, it's generally first thing. It's first couple of hours trying to beat them. Them fish are there, and there's some that are going to be there all day. So you're right. I mean that you can do anything. But I would say, listen, if you're fishing and you're fishing off the bank, morning to noon right now, like you said, transitioning over a little later in the day as it gets
Correct.
colder. So, I do got a question because it's been kind of a topic, and I will put some line on this. I got this. Listen, I got this new Spro rock crawler rod with this brand new JC Elite reel on that. I will put some line on it because I'm going to have it while I'm waiting for you guys to come back and I'm walking around up there at Laurel. I'm going to cast it a few times and see what I think about this rod. So yes, cameraman Cletus, I'm going to rig it up. I don't want to argue the merits for or against forward facing sonar, but on Lanier, I hear about all these other lakes, these guys, and you know who they are, fussing about how the lakes are suffering. Lanier just seems to be just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and more guys are fishing offshore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really honestly think it affects the fish like some are saying? I know time will tell, but right now.
From what we're being exposed to by the lake of all these big weights, it looks like it's not affecting it negatively at all.
Right.
Over the long haul, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, and you're going to need some data on that.
That's right. But I was looking at pictures on Facebook, guys were posting from 2018, 2017. There's still 20-pound bags coming out then.
It weren't that deep, though, in the weigh-in line.
Right. So you're just saying it's resulting in more.
Yeah. So, seriously, man, an 18-pound bag used to win the Hammonds tournaments. And this kind of goes toward forward-facing sonar. I watched your podcast last week with the young man from Gunnersville.
Yeah. Reese Knight.
Reese. And so just listening to that and tying to Lanier at the same time, he kind of touched on catching those fish away from the grass at Gunnersville, at the mouths of the creeks and in the creek channels and the river channel and stuff like that. Now, you've always been able to catch them in Gunnersville like that. And again, I'm going to tie it back to Lanier, is that why are we seeing so many multiple 20-pound bags now? Is it because those fish are being exposed now? Are we seeing them because of forward-facing sonar? And are people fishing and gravitating to the deep water more than they used to because the trend used to be shallow?
Yep.
And, is that why there's multiple bags? I don't have the answer to that because too many people are quiet that are winning, right?
No doubt about that.
So, it's kind of a topic that's on the boat when we're tournament fishing, I'm curious what people talk about when they're tournament fishing. But, me and Clay are constantly catching, we're working to catch our next fish to cull. And boom, here's a 2.75. And that one was shallow and it was on a worm. Well, we think in our mind we're doing something wrong. And you're like, man, I wonder what Paul Marks is doing. I wonder what, so you always think, those guys could pull up to a deep area and catch their entire 24-pound or 23-pound bag in that deep water. In our mind, we're thinking that. But I think if we really knew the truth about some of that, it's a mixture of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I have no idea. But hearing the kid talked about Gunnersville, and you've got 30-pound bags being weighed right now, right?
Yep.
Pretty deep into the weigh-in line. Is it because those fish have always been out there, but they just really haven't been targeted?
I think so.
Because you can see them now.
Yeah.
Now, taking that also about live scope or forward-facing sonar, I absolutely love it. It's hard for me to go fish without it.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to have a no forward-facing sonar tournament this year.
Yeah.
That's going to get interesting. But
you can fish without it if you had to.
You can. But I think more fish are being targeted now because the forward-facing sonar, you can't hide with it, man. You can see everything.
Now I have a theory.
Okay.
Can't prove it. With the amount of anglers now fishing offshore, do you think that's helping the shallow fish? Less pressure on shallow fish. Is that evening out? Yeah, you're seeing more fish out there, and a lot of guys are going out there, but a lot less guys are beating the banks.
Well,
you think that could be like, hey, it might be catching more out there, but we're letting I could be wrong. This is just the way my mind works.
Well, seasonally, is that a word?
Hell, I don't know.
But
sounded right.
Pre-spawn, spawn, pretty much a lot or the majority are shallow.
Yeah.
Certain other times of the year, like I just said, there are fish right now in 55 to 75 to even deeper. I don't go and look beyond that, right?
Right.
Maybe I should. But
maybe
there are a number of fish in Lanier. We're so blessed to have the resource that we've got, right?
Right.
But like I said, there's pods of them that are 2-pounders that you can catch on a spoon and a worm or what have you. But it's amazing to see.
Mm-hmm,
it really is. It's pretty damn
number
cool.
of fish.
But I use it shallow. I mean, Paul Driscoll,
blinker fish.
You look up on the rock and you see a blink and you throw your Nico rig up there and you work it. So
rocks don't blink is what he said.
That's right. So I think that shallow fish are also getting exposed to it. I mean,
I can say I try to think of the different reasons. Like the largemouth everybody's been talking about, they've been coming back on Lanier here recently. You hear people saying, well, in 2008, the lake was down, it helped some grass, it got better places to hide, this and that. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I just wonder if the largemouth are being helped because more people are out there fishing for the spots deep. It could be just absolutely totally asinine, but that's the way my mind thinks.
That comment right there by Eric is the truth. I mean, what you're seeing, but by his comment, is 100% true.
Yeah,
fish are doing what they've always done.
That's right.
They've always done that, but we're learning more about it.
You know, same thing with cell phones. We did the same stuff back. We just didn't get caught. We didn't get, thank God they didn't have cell phones back in the day. Hey, going up, there was a couple of questions I want to make sure I get. First one was about from Discover Bass Adventure, right up there. What's the trick to stop guides from freezing up and backlashing? I use Vaseline. Any tips on that?
Yeah, don't fish in the winter.
That come to my mind.
Yep.
That come to my mind. I don't know. I've never put anything on it. I just always, when they freeze, I dip it actually down in the water because the water is warmer and get them off and make a few more casts. So
yeah, I mean, there's very few tournaments that I personally fish that are going to be like that. Maybe 2 a year. That's half the day. Then it warms up. But these other guys, like the pros, or that the other ones that are on this channel that are just traveling throughout in the northern lakes, it happens consistently. I
would say, I know it's going to be cold. 28. Yeah, it can start freezing, but I think that really gets really worse when you get down in like the lower 20s, teens and all that.
Warm up to 52, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be nice in the afternoon.
52, 53.
Yeah. Well, I'll be in shorts out there. Pull up Trip Gwynn right there, that comment. First of all, appreciate you watching tonight. York County, South Carolina high school boat captain here. We're fishing the PBC trail there February 8th. Any tips for these youngsters appreciated? Semper Fi, we fish Hartwell Saturday for the PBC. So I assume you're saying you're going to fish Lanier.
Yeah.
February 8th.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time of year. I mean, basically, ditch fishing still probably be in. We'll have some pre-spawners getting ready.
I think the same thing that's going on right now is only going to get stronger over the next couple of months.
Yeah.
I really do, because our heaviest weights come in February.
That's right.
I mean, I've got the data that show that.
100%.
Right? So the heavier weights come, and it's the tips that I can give right now is basically be prepared for multiple tactics. I mean, you've got to still be versatile and to try to catch a winning bag. You can go out there and catch 20 fish in a short period of time just spooning right now.
Yep.
And you can probably still do it in February. Hell, if it gets real cold and you have a shad die off, that spoon is phenomenal in February.
That's right. Fish your strengths. Because I know, like in January, February last year on the electric tournaments out of Baldridge and all that, a lot of those tournaments were won shallow. And they were won on a jig. So, I mean, if you can drag a shaky head still. You can do anything.
A lot of people forget about brush fish in the winter. They do. They totally, absolutely just throw it out the window and don't go visit any.
Yeah.
Man, some of the biggest fish will still be in some of that brush.
That's right. It doesn't get talked about near as much. Hey, let's real quick because we're about 40 minutes in. Pull up Fishers of Hope right there. I want to tell everybody about our sponsor right there. Guys, listen, hey, you always want to align yourself with people that help each other. And Fishers of Hope, hey, listen, it's right there on the thing. Their mission to glorify God, be servants of his word, and to bring those in need to peace and hope that only he can bring. This ministry hosts benefit tournaments to help people in need. And if you want to participate, donate, know somebody in need, contact Fishers of Hope Ministry at gmail.com. And again, it's these kind of organizations that I highly recommend you be a part of. With so much going on in the world today, you get people that are doing it the right way and helping people. Fishers of Hope is one of those. So we appreciate those guys. And again, check them out. And again, don't be scared if you know somebody in need to throw it out there, So, Alan Brooks is here. All right. So you talked about your no forward facing when anything.
Mm-hmm.
If Scott has that tournament and needs the transducers lock out, give him the info. I have hundreds of them he can use. No need to buy.
Thanks, Alan. We appreciate that for sure.
He's all right. Alan's all right. He's a little sketchy.
And the rough draft right now, I think what we're going to do is it's absolutely 100% payout, but it's going to be a little steeper, with entry fee. We're considering $250
Yeah.
I wanted to hit the 300 mark. It's a pretty big event, but once you start getting to 300, you're going to have people back out. I think personally.
Yeah.
But 250, you're probably still only going to we'll have a lot of interest, but I want to know who's committed. It's very important.
Oh, and Alan can tell you all about that.
Because you probably have about 25 boats show up.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But it's an event.
That's right.
It's an event, and you want the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, speaking of me personally, I'm a professional donator anyway.
Yep.
You know how that is, Tony.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
hell, I know I'm losing, but I like to go just hobnob with guys like that. Sometimes just it's worth, and I know it sounds crazy, it's worth the entry fee just to watch what these guys are bringing to the weights, especially with the no forward like that. I always love that idea. I'm glad Alan got that kind of ball rolling right there, and looking forward to the next one, Alan. Looking forward to the next one. Dave Aldridge says real magic, and I would imagine he's back to talking about your guides.
Freezing, yeah.
Real magic. So
they advertise that it won't freeze your eyes.
Won't freeze your eyes?
Yep, if you
Okay.
use that.
Okay, that's perfect. So
they need to invent a rod battery operated that kind of heats the guides a little bit, but don't burn your line. You'd have zero problem.
Randy-
we need to do that.
Randy Blockett would still bitch about it.
We could do that.
Too much technology.
We come up with it and sell it.
So I'm with Danny in the Hobnob Club. That's it. I'm there to hobnob. I'm there. All right. So let's do this. Let's try to, for those, there's a lot of guys coming, and I know a lot of guys that don't. Let's break the lake down into 3 sections.
Okay.
And before we do the question of the night, let's talk about the north end, which is really 2 sections. You got the Chestatee side and you got the Chattahoochee side. I'm more familiar with the Chestatee side. So let's talk about the Chattahoochee side.
All right.
All right. For somebody that's just fishing, ain't on Lanier a lot, what are we looking at, say, from, I would say that would be the 53 bridge up?
Yeah.
Or the 60 bridge or whatever?
Probably Sardis Creek.
Sardis Creek area
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
What kind of techniques are going to come into play up there?
Same. I mean, you really are, but you're going to have more guys, I think, throwing spinner bait, chatter baits or something, crank baits for the largemouth bite, but they get surprised with some big spots. Who was the guy that was on your show a couple of weeks ago that stayed at Laurel Park during that big event, Bassmaster event?
Oh, Lord. Was it a pro?
Yes. And all he did
Drew
was
Cook.
And he threw a crankbait all day long. No, he was a pro.
Yeah, Drew Cook.
Yeah.
He's elite. Well, I'm trying to think. Or let's see. You had G. You had how many pros we had on lately? We've had a few.
Had quite a few.
I know. I'm getting hobnobbing with some of them guys out
Uh-huh.
there. Yeah, you know how it is. Well,
But I think you can still roll in with a shaky head and jig and can't go wrong doing something up there on rock and clay, deep fish, timber fish, river channel fish.
what would you target if you were going? If that was the only section you could fish was the Upper Chattahoochee section of Lanier. I mean, what would Scott Barnes do?
Small crankbait. I would throw a rock crawler.
Same
Really
thing
would.
you probably could do down
Absolutely. I
south.
stay on rock though.
Stay on the rock with a rock crawler.
Mhm. That's what I do. Probably the wrong thing to do, but that's what I would do.
Hell, listen, I know how that is right there. All right, so again, but largemouth come into play up there because I've had several guys come in here and I've heard spinnerbait.
Yep.
I've heard the chatterbait, jig, of course, always. Jig is going to work. A jig could work the entire lake, but I heard for the guys fishing north, especially in the Chattahoochee area, I've heard spinnerbait more than I have anything. And so if we transition over to the Chestatee side, you mentioned bigger spots in the on the Gainesville side, on the Chattahoochee side, but one of the things we hear guys talk about, whether they talk about it on the show or not, the quality of the spotted bass up to Chestatee is not as good, in their opinion, as the Gainesville side.
Yeah, Thompson, Taylor Creek, all
They're
of that.
there,
and
but-
even further up
Yeah.
toward, Lumpkin County and that area.
Yeah, and you got to consider duck hunters. I'm just telling you, there'll be some guys out there duck hunting, especially if you might get sprayed. My son might be out there. I don't know. I ain't figured out duck hunting on Lake Lanier. It ain't like out in Arkansas where there's a million of them. And my son thinks fishing is boring. But his ass will go sit out there in 20-something degrees waiting for that one damn duck to fly over Lake Lanier. But they go up around Laurel Park. Joshua Goat had 16 on the north end this weekend. So, and then what did Kevin say, lip sticker?
Rock and clay.
Rock and clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the north end. Covered docks hold more heat.
Yeah.
these are tips, guys. You need to be paying attention. But Joshua, you had 16 on the north end. So is that 16 pounds or 16 fish?
Probably 16 pounds.
16 pounds that would be my guess right there. So, but would you still do the same things on the Chestatee side? You still thinking you're going to throw that small crankbait rock crawl up there? Because that is a little bit different.
Yeah, and I hate to be generic with this, but like the young man said earlier, fish are fish. They're going to still eat what we've got, and whatever your strengths are. From right now, you could go up there and fish a ditch with a Kitech in any part of the lake.
Yeah,
but I think it's different terrain up there to me. I think you got River Channel running through that in there. I think the bigger spots are down south. I may be totally wrong with that, but that's primarily what I've always done.
Yeah,
and you're looking at 9 feet down too, running up north.
Yeah,
like it being shallower. You're talking about?
Yeah, so it's really shallow.
So draw them fish out.
Back in the day, in the BFLs, Matt Wilbanks used to dominate. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I think that he stayed up north a good bit, and largemouth consistently, and they were dogfish back in the day. It's what you heard, but I think that still goes on today and still a true pattern.
That makes sense. I bet you Harold Grizzle is going to be up there.
Yeah, Harold all about Harold tell you everything.
Harold said he was coming, so I guarantee he's going to be up north. Cody Campbell, right up to the top. Do you guys have a certain leader length you like to run on spinning gear? I will say I'm in the Dave Aldridge camp. I am a lot longer than a lot of guys, and the reason being is I don't trust my knot tying ability at all. And the sooner I can get that knot back on the reel, the better to me. So I probably honestly throw a 20-foot leader.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I run in the spool. A lot of folks want to just right outside their bail when they click the spinning reel, and it makes sense. But I typically run about a 20-foot leader.
Yeah, I'm long. What about you, Tony?
Probably about 20 foot.
So maybe I'm not as different.
I'm 7 foot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're
Just
short.
right outside the bail.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I actually got a question for you. And this is just because of a guy talking to that Carolina rig.
Yeah.
And it might have been Reese talking about it, or somebody we were talking about either before. From your sinker to your hook, how long?
Used to throw it quite a bit, and I've got a real good buddy, Tommy Akers, that I used to fish with in the Georgia Great Atlanta Bass Club.
Yeah.
And that's all that we typically used to throw.
Okay.
It was the what was the worm? Speed Vibe.
You was a Speed Vibe?
Zoom Speed Vibe worm, yeah, with a little tail on it.
How long was your leader?
14 inches.
So it was short.
Yeah, 14.
Somebody was talking in here in the shop or something.
Sometimes we'd use monofilament.
I think it depends on the watercolor.
It was this guy had like 3 or 4 feet,
Oh yeah.
which seemed long to me. I don't throw a Carolina rig very much.
We would use monofilament sometimes on the leader because the old saying that mono floats, right? So you kind of want it to float up while your weight was down.
Yeah.
And we would use half-ounce sinkers. They got tungsten now and all that, but we would used to buy the egg sinkers,
Yeah.
the bullet weights and
That's
stuff
right.
like that, and catch fish. And heck, Fuentes, what's the guy? Joey
Cifuentes.
Didn't he Carolina rig
Yeah.
He
during
did.
that
Yes,
tournament?
during the TAA
And I'm
tournament.
telling you, you can do that year round at this lake.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Paul Driscoll, Daryl Strayhorn, all of these guys, from our age.
The old
That's
farts.
That's what they were throwing,
Yeah.
right?
The old ball and
you
chain.
can still catch it now. But, I think Live Scope has taken some people away from a lot of us. I mean, I haven't thrown a Carolina rig in years.
That might be the winning ticket Saturday. But it was just because we were talking about leaders, and that question brought it up in my mind. It might have been longer than 4 foot. It might have been 5 foot this guy was talking about.
Yeah, and
I
so
was like, good Lord, that's long.
So what I thought was interesting with that, this happened a couple weeks back. Tommy called me, and I was on the lake, and he was on the lake, and he was shooting pictures of, these big ass spots. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and he said Carolina rig, the way we used to do it. So if you're out there on your scope right now and you're looking, you see a lot of fish on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
We're throwing it in 30 feet, 35 feet, a Carolina rig, and dragging it. You're not seeing every fish on the bottom
100%.
with the live
right.
scope.
Right.
So if you see some activity and you just want to, if you're a true dragger and you want to just go drag, you can catch fish on a Carolina rig and you'd be surprised. I just haven't thrown it in years, but damn it, the other day made me rethink that.
What would you put on the back of it right now?
I'd put the speed vibe.
Still
That's what
put the
that's
speed
what
vibe.
he used, and
I know a lot
Green
of guys.
Pumpkin Zoom 6-inch speed vibe. Speed U vibe. Is that what it's called?
Hell, I don't know.
You vibe.
Yeah,
U vibe.
Mhm.
Well, Green Pumpkin, Cinco. I know a lot of guys like to pull Cinco. Some guys pull a Fluke. I mean, but it's funny. We're talking about Carolina rig, but
yeah, it's crazy.
it just popped into my mind when I saw that, like leader length, because most guys I think are 18 inches, but he was like, I'm like, how the hell do you even cast it? When
That's
you
why
got,
they use 7.5, 8 foot rods to
Yeah.
throw those things.
you got to, you absolutely got to. All right. So did I miss any questions right there?
We're still at the top here.
We're still right there. You want to go ahead and do the question of the night?
It's up to you.
Now listen, before I even talk about our fine sponsor, here's what you're going to get if you win the question tonight. I got these missile baits, the Robo Worm ones, the ones that are made by Robo Worm, okay? So I got 2 colors right here. These are the 6-inch magic worm. I've got John's Juice, and I don't know, I guess that's Cruz. I guess you're talking about John's.
That's Bruce.
I've talked to Cruz. He's going to come on the show. He's a busy man, though. I got to catch him. And then Passion Shad. So if you're in the Passion Shad or John's Juice,
I think the wife.
that sounds awful.
Yeah, it does.
I'm going to give you some of John's Juice, and then you can pair it with your Passion Shad right there. All right. So before I know my sponsor's watching tonight, so I got to do a good job from here. Go up and pull up Mr. Serve IT right there. Serve IT Technology and Managed Services. Guys, if you have a business in need of a complete IT solution, Serve IT is the guys. I say the guys, the company for you. Customer service is their utmost priority, and it's number one on their list. And I say this all the time. I went down there. I've seen the processes. They've got it. You really ought to just, any business owner should go down there and hook up with Alan and go into his office and see the way they've got their processes lined up. But if your company's in need of a complete IT solution, check out Serve IT. And then again, they are looking for go-getters that want to learn the IT industry. If you are a bright, outgoing individual, maybe thinking about a career change, you're customer service oriented, go check out Serve IT. That's exactly the type of person they're looking for. They can train you. Go to serveit.com, check out careers there, and talk to them. It might just be the solution for you. And I know they want people in our industry, the outgoing, we fishermen. I know people think we're simple, but we're I guess I want to say we're people oriented. We're people oriented. And so they're looking for those type of people. So check them out today. Now here's the question. All right. Now it's a long one. And it's going to take you guys a while. It's going to take you. I think it's going to take a while. Don't you, Tony?
Yes.
But if you,
I don't.
if you want some of John's Juice and Passion Shad, he's going to read the question twice. You and I are going to, what's the next question that came up? So you and I, best way to get the finicky fish to bite?
Let's see here.
I want to make sure. So you and I are going to continue the conversation while they wait for the right answer. So scroll on down. I think it was, keep on going. Chase Garrison.
Gotcha.
So you and I are going to talk about the best way to get finicky fish that only want to chase on live scope to bite. So that's what you and I are going to talk about while they're trying to answer this question. You ready?
No.
First person to get it wins John's Juice and Passion Shad from Missile Baits.
All right. Pay attention because there's a clue about halfway down. What pro athlete was born so pigeon-toed that doctors had to break bones in both of their feet when they were only 8 months old to correct the problem? Walking was a major challenge for this athlete who spent much of their early youth in a wheelchair. Between the ages of 6 and 8, this person had to wear leg braces. This person spent much of their early childhood gazing out the window, watching neighborhood children play kickball, something this person could never even imagine doing. At the time, doctors predicted that this person would be lucky if they ever walked normally. This person also made something unique that is still done today. Who was this person, and what was that unique thing that's still done today?
Man, that sounds like Forrest Gump.
And he's got to read it again.
You got to read that damn thing again.
Like Forrest Gump right there.
That is a mouthful.
When he read that again, somebody here said, that sounds
It's
like
not
Forrest.
Forrest Gump.
It is not Forrest Gump. Read it one more time.
What pro athlete was born so pigeon-toed that doctors had to break bones in both of their feet when they were only 8 months old to correct the problem. Walking was a major challenge for this athlete, who spent much of their early youth in a wheelchair. Between the ages of 6 and 8, this person had to wear leg braces. This person spent much of their early childhood gazing out the window, watching neighborhood children play kickball, something this person could not even imagine doing. At the time, doctors predicted that this person would be lucky if they ever walked normally. This person also made something unique that is still done today. Who is this person, and what is unique that they're doing today?
All right, so I saw some of your answers right there. Again, it's not Forrest Gump.
And I never said it was a male.
Oh, don't do
I
that
didn't
now.
say it wasn't a female.
Y'all ain't gonna win these prizes tonight. I can tell you right there. So anyway,
Somebody said Tommy John.
I saw Jake wants to know what are y'all expecting for a boat turnout real quick. I'm expecting 70 to 80. If we get over that, that'd be great. I know we had 44 pre-registered. I've talked to 20 guys that I know I don't even think are affiliated with your group that are coming. So 64 to 80, it's going to be good. So you guys keep going. You know the right answer. You guys are not going to get it tonight. I'm just
Fishing
going to
with Farmer.
fishing with Farmer. Yeah,
I know the answer.
Yeah, Farmer can't answer that. So you guys keep throwing the down there, and you're not going to talk because the question was,
No, you can't repeat it. We only did it twice.
Oh,
You
there's
like
the
to
answer.
sabotage
I do.
everything.
That's
We
because
got
your
the
questions
answer.
are too damn hard.
We got the answer.
Holy Toledo, somebody answered it.
All right. Yeah.
Carter Cunningham.
No, he didn't.
What do you mean? No, he didn't.
What is unique that he does?
Okay, damn, my bad.
Yeah, he
My
started.
bad.
What is
Listen.
unique that he does?
What is that man responsible for doing? Carter, hurry up because I want to send you these worms before all these old farts try to get it.
I forgot it was a two-parter after the novel we had to read.
Yep.
Yeah, so
You
anyway,
might have to give 2 packs away.
I know.
No, we got a rookie running the board. What can I
Hey.
say?
Yeah,
Might have to give-
I'm gonna blame Tony. It's Tony's
It's
fault.
my fault.
No,
It's my
it is
fault.
mine because I thought he wanted to. Anyway, all right, so while they're trying to figure out what that man is responsible for,
Yeah.
the question was seeing fish on live scope and they're finicky.
Yeah.
What's some Scott Barnes tricks on getting those fish to bite?
I leave. No, I'm just joking.
I got
I
you.
get frustrated with it, man. It's a cat and mouse game. It really is in for me.
Yeah.
But what are we throwing? I mean, I guess at the end of the
Leanne Wagner.
Leah Wagner, Leroy Butler, and he started the Lambeau Leap. Derrico, you were close, but I tell you what,
You need to get Carter in.
Carter?
See?
Carter and Leah, I'm going to give you both some of John's juice and some passion shad. So here's what I need you both to do. If you're on Facebook, message me at Danny Pruitt with your address, and I'll get them out there to you, both of you. And then if you're not on Facebook, you can text me your address, 678-283-6700 here at Fish, North Georgia. What's that? Hell
Leah.
yeah. Now, listen, first of all, Leah Wagner, I want to know if you're Leah or are you Leah's husband. Lots of times we get a picture of a lady right there, and I think a female is wanted, and I'm like, hell yeah. And it's her dad, it's her husband or somebody or a kid. So just let me know if you actually are Leah. So anyway, all right, but back to the frustrating fish.
okay.
Not even Google knew that answer. Yeah, I know it. So, I mean, yeah, it does depend on what you're throwing.
Yeah. So if we break that down,
I am Leah. Put the camera on me right there.
It was the passion.
Congratulations, Leah. I absolutely appreciate you watching us. That is awesome right there. Yeah, that's cool. But I'm gonna give the young guy some too.
Carter, I think you
Carter. But the reason that means a lot is like if you look at our demographics on our analytics, we are like 99% male. I cannot, and it might just be my ugly mug. I cannot get the females watching this show. It might be your off-colored humor. It might be your fault.
It could be.
But I thought the only reason you're here is for your looks.
That's it.
I thought it would attract more females to the show.
I just thought you liked the chicken.
I do like the
keep
chicken.
inviting-
You do feed us every day. That's why you keep. What is the Lambeau Leap? If you ever watch a Green Bay Packers game, when they score a touchdown and you see them run and jump into the stands, and they're sitting there with all the fans
Up on the wall.
up on the wall, that is the Lambeau Leap. So that's awesome. So, all right. Anyway, thank you guys. You guys got it quicker than I thought. And but thank you for playing and watching, and don't go nowhere. We still got some more good stuff. All right, so these finicky fish.
Mhm.
Let's do this for So I can give you the a scenario. You're scoping, you're over timber, 50 foot, but you're seeing the fish at 30. They're throwing down there, they're following, they're not hitting.
Yeah. So I think, like I said, it's a cat and mouse game, right? So a lot of the fish that I have caught scoping, and I really haven't been out in the deep timber a lot, but the times that I have, the fish that I catch are ones that attack it. They annihilate it.
Yep.
I mean, I throw it out and I bring the minnow back, or 20 feet. It depends on the depths or what have you. But if I see 2 or 3 fish out there and I throw over their heads and I'm bringing that minnow back, the ones that I've caught have shot up, ate the damn thing, and those are the ones that I catch. I've had several. I throw it 100 during a day and I may catch 5.
Right.
I'm certainly not to the skill level that these other guys are.
Yeah.
And so I get frustrated with it. But saying that, you can change things up because you're only going to get one shot at that fish, I would think.
At least on that, yeah.
Right.
You might have to come
But
back to them later.
This time of year, you're seeing multiple schools while your trolling motor's down and it's 55 feet of water. You're seeing them on the bottom, crawling, and a decent amount of fish down there. And you can throw at those fish, and you're targeting the ones that are really crawling on the bottom. The Jordan Lee video that he did at the Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl last year. Do y'all remember when he brought that swim bait over the timber and it looked like 3 or 4 fish that were there, and then you saw they just erupted and 20 fish come up off that bottom,
Right.
and they were competitive, and that fish ate it immediately. That's how I catch those fish. The ones that are finicky, I only get 1 or 2 casts from them if they're high in the level, but there's a lot of times that I'll slow that down, get rid of that, and take the Nico out. And that Nico, I put a 1/8 ounce nail weight in it or a 1/32, and been very successful on the bottom or intercepting the fish. If I see one out there, 3 or 4, I won't even pick up the minnow, throw the Nico out, and it's falling really slow. Those fish that I'm throwing at will follow it all the way to the bottom. Everybody has seen that watching this show.
Yeah.
And not all of them bite. But
Right.
if sometimes you can dead stick it, sometimes you can shake it, and you'd be surprised though. But I'm more of the finesse worm guy, and caught very few out there doing the minnow thing.
Right.
That's not my style.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get better at it, right?
Well,
So
I know a lot of those guys.
I go out there a lot,
Mhm.
and I try and I focus on that, and I do catch those timber fish or whatever you want to call them. But I think some of these guys that are 20 foot and less are seeing those fish the same way you're seeing them over timber, and they're targeting those maybe with a Nico or the minnow, and those fish are up for a reason.
Yes.
They're there because they want to bite.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our bite's going to get better through February. You're going to see much bigger bags, and things are going to be more in our wheelhouse. A bank guy can go out there and do good.
I got you. But again, too, when you talk to like the Emils and the Pauls and all that, when you say finicky fish, they hit the spot so quick. They pull up 1 cast, 2 cast. If it ain't happening, they're gone. They do not sit there and try to coax. At least these guys, when they've been on the show talking, they don't try to coax those fish.
They don't throw at every fish they see.
And they'll come back around to those fish later, maybe, and try something different.
I think they're looking for something very specific.
They
I'm sure
are.
they tried a lot of fish that they see and don't get a bite too, right?
Yeah.
But in our minds, like Carter, he just answered that question. He's been on a tear this year. He's won. Him and his dad has won 2 of our tournaments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Carter and Clay. So
that's Clay Cunningham's boy.
Yes.
I didn't put it together. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Go scroll up just a couple. First of all, Daryl Strayhorn. We're always blessed with the presence of Daryl when he's around.
There he is.
Shorter the better on the Carolina rig in the winter, 12-inch at most.
Fish are on the bottom.
Take his advice. Yeah.
Shorter the better. That's my motto in life.
Daryl, how deep you throw that? Comment back on that. What depths are you primarily throwing that at this time of year? I haven't seen you thrown it in years, but I'm just curious what you would do.
Yeah. And then Leah, thank you for saying that I'm handsome, just not as handsome as that Cletus guy. Now I know who you are. Now I know who you are. Thank you for joining us tonight. Has anyone played with sinking braid? And guys, if we missed your question up earlier because of the question of the night, put it again in the comment section. We'll circle back around to it.
Is that who I think it is?
That's who you think it is.
Okay.
That's who Leah is.
Okay.
Yeah, we know who Leah is now right there. So
He's been sharing some juice then, hasn't he?
But you know,
About fishing.
with Leah,
Your mind is in the gutter.
with that comment, it is in the gutter, and I'm going to try to be good because Scott, he's all political. He's the mayor. We can't go down too many rabbit holes. We don't want to ruin his political career.
bring it.
Anyone played with sinking braid?
I haven't.
I have not. How about
It's
you?
just come out recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't fish.
No, I don't.
I just have a
Interesting.
podcast about fishing. So no, and if anybody in the comment section has played with a sinking braid, throw it out there and help Cody and them out.
But another.
Oh, they are. So Ron Swinford said, yeah, it works pretty good. The Defi or D brand, I guess, or the new Sunline All Might is pretty good stuff. So there you go.
But another thing about those finicky fish is go lighter than what you think you need to go. I mean, you know, if you're dropping a Demiki or something,
Right.
a lot of those fish will hit it on the fall. But if you're dropping, you know, a 3/8 versus a 3/16 or a 1/8 ounce Demiki,
Yeah.
you know, that rate of fall makes a lot of difference from a standpoint of what looks natural, right? I mean, look at all these baits you have in the store, right? What do fish eat when it comes to bait fish, right? They eat threadfin, herring, and they know what's real and they know what's not a lot of times.
For sure.
You know, something's not right, but you can take a lighter weight Demiki, drop it, they'll catch it on the fall, or a lot of times they will come up from the bottom and you're just holding it a foot off the bottom.
Right.
And they just come up and eat it.
That Kevin Underwood threw me a tip a couple years ago with the shaky head bite that he had been finding. And he goes, Danny, go light. And I went with like a 1/8 shaky head because they're hitting it on the fall.
Correct.
And that was just what he had been experiencing on the water. And I had a tournament and I threw a 1/8 shaky head and they were annihilated. And my partner was throwing a heavier one. He wasn't getting hit at all. It was that rate of fall. I think there was a difference. Same worm, different weight made all the difference.
So I was out there a week ago in some deep areas, just dropping on them with a Demiki, but I had, you know, a 3-inch bait on it and just holding it down there. And the ones that I did catch were spitting up much smaller shad than I did. So of course you downsize. So I went straight to the Demiki, true Demiki white, and I kind of cut the tip off a little bit. So it was like a 2-inch bait.
You're throwing a crappy jig at that point.
Yeah, but it's amazing to realize that, you know, you hone in on what they're feeding, because when you're catching them spoonfish or what have you, they're spitting up the shad. So
I got you right there. All right, where are we at on the questions there? We're about caught up.
We got a few more here.
All right, let's see. Just wherever you get the next one. But anyway, again, you know, while we're finding the next question, Cunninghams are killing it. Corey says, yeah. So, all right, Daryl Strayhorn, he answered that question. Shallow rock. Pull that note. Found that pattern about 15 years ago and have won several tournaments. Broke off and used a shorter leader, and bam, pattern found. And that sounds about right. Now, Daryl, what were you throwing on the back of it? Because I imagine if it worked back in the day, it still works. Just a regular old Cinco? Probably so. Ron's got a question right there. Scott. There we go. When you are fishing deep, are you fizzing the fish you catch deep, or are you using fin weights on them? I worry about keeping those deep caught fish alive.
Yeah.
Fish care. I know it's always important with you.
Yeah. What's it called? Fish bender? Mender?
Mm-hmm.
The needle. And so I've got several of those in my boat, and I actually go through the mouth.
I do too.
And I fit, but that's obviously the ones that I'm keeping. If I'm fun fishing, I throw them right back immediately and just get them in the water. But yeah, it's, we have this great resource. We got to take care of it and try to do our best to take care of the fish. And I'm big on that. But like you said, Lanir has just exploded the last couple of years. These weights are going to get better. But I definitely, you know, use the needle in the mouth versus the side. I think Kevin Underwood goes in through the side. I'm not 100%.
I've seen him go through the mouth.
I just talked to a guy today who went with him Monday week, and he's down going through the mouth.
Is he?
Yeah.
And then also, you know, the fin clips, I think they're a huge help as well. I kind of put the fish in, put the needle in, If he's doing fine, great. If I see that he's starting to float up, I don't poke him again. I want to poke that fish one time. I don't want multiple pokes, and then I'll put the fins on him.
Yeah.
Haven't had any issues with
Yeah. There'll be some fish needing fizz this weekend for sure. Farmer, right there. How would you shorten the learning curve to the offshore game to someone that is a bank beating power guy, which he's talking about himself? That is a question for him.
On Lanir?
On anywhere. So Farmer, he's been on it, guys, but he is a shallow water power guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's still good at it, but he talks about having to learn this offshore game. But to shorten the learning curve for him as a power guy, what can we do to shorten it?
Remain shallow? Is that what?
No, he wants to go deep. He wants to learn that offshore game. He's so used to fishing shallow.
Yeah. That's me right now. I'm trying to do the same thing that he's doing. And I've been in this game for a while too and have fun with it. And Live Scope has opened up a lot of our eyes, right? But I'm trying to learn it as well, man. And I just think a lot of time on the water, and you try and A through Z to trigger a bite and then get honed in something.
Mm-hmm.
Just time on the water, so it doesn't really shorten your curve, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Dylan Akins. Oh, there's the champ. Dylan has showed up.
But I also wouldn't keep it complicated. You got to keep things simple, right? When you're out that deep, it's either going to be a minnow, it's going to be a spoon, it's going to be, some kind of minnow bait. I think.
Yeah.
A spoon, and a worm as well. This time of year in the winter,
mm-hmm.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Danny, are you going to salt the ramp Saturday morning? The Big Shanty guys, so Scott brought it up earlier. I believe they said they were.
Yep.
I believe they're going to bring some sand and some salt like that. So we're going to make sure we take care of you, champ.
Daryl's throwing a French fry worm.
Daryl was throwing a French fry worm. Actually, the old French fry worm. Darker color, the better. Of course, we throw the Cinco now. Yeah, Daryl's our age. He's been around the block a time or two. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. So Mike Bennett. With the rock crawlers, is it best to throw red crawl color or shad pattern? Now that's a question that gets brought up because I know a lot of guys, they go straight to the oranges, to the crawl patterns about this time of year. Even they've been throwing it. There are still some guys out there that are throwing the shad patterns. Mm-hmm. Now, do you throw a rock crawler a lot?
I do, but I also throw the 5XD just in a green giz. I really don't care what the back is. If it's a pearl or translucent color, I think that crankbait's moving and making noise and diving into the rock and triggering a reaction bite, right? So, I can just talk from my experience alone is that, Clay will go out and he may throw a rock crawler and I may throw the 5XD, and one day we'll do equally as well. And then one day he's better, but is it because he threw right where that fish was and could figure where that fish, did the fish trigger it and see it, come and eat it? Did you trigger that fish to bite? But I definitely will throw a 5XD in a shad color and a rock crawler in the cellmate a lot of times. Cellmate, really well with that.
I know it's conventional thinking to go with the crawl patterns and all that. A lot of guys do that. I think like what Farmer is saying right there, red crawl for sure in dirty water. Now in dirtier water, definitely, I think you're going to go with those oranges and those reds, those patterns. But if you're in clear water, they eat shad all year long, so you can get away with both, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. A good question right there.
I think once the water temperature reaches about 55 is when I go to crawl.
That's key.
Yeah. What temp again?
55.
55. So you like the crawl patterns,
and then
colder.
I'll go to the crawl.
So you'll stay shad until shad
Especially
related.
On Shad Lake. I don't fish Lanir, so I wouldn't be throwing anything blueback or anything. But
there you
All
go.
right. Pop up Matthew there. Shout out to Scott. My son, who is 8 years old, and I ran into him at Charleston Park a few weekdays ago. After chatting with us, he gave my son a Hammond's gift bag from his tournament. 100% made his day. Thank you.
That's great, Matthew.
Scott he ain't bad. He ain't a bad fella like that. We know he is the mayor, but he's humble, and that's why we like him here like that. So that's what, when you get comments like that, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
It is. I like when we get comments like that. The water temp was 55.9 today, according to Eric Richards. Now, Eric, what part of the lake were you on? So that's it. What was the water temp last time you was on it?
62,
62. There you go.
low
What-
60. Actually, yeah, it was probably 60 in
South
some
side?
mornings. Yeah.
South side of the lake. When you start seeing what you call the lipstick on the fish with their lips or bright red, start throwing crawl patterns religiously. So that's when they're down there. And a lot of people say when they get that red coloring, they're down there on the rocks hitting the crawfish. That's when they're really on the crawfish bite right there. So Eric was on the south. So there you go. So I would say to answer the rock crawler color, you probably could do a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Whatever you're confident in right now. So what do you think? I tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow on the Fish North Georgia group page. I think I'm going to put out guess closest to the winning weight. We'll have a prize like that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what people are doing. How to catch fish like Underwood, Chase Garrison.
You got to go with him. Watch him.
Definitely got to go with him. And I will tell you this: I got to fish one of Scott's tournaments a few weeks back with Kevin. We took third that day. Just couldn't get. If we'd got that 5 pounder, it was only like a pound and a few ounces off first place.
Yeah.
Most consistent day of catching 3.5, 4 pound spots I've ever seen. But I will tell you this: even though it was in a tournament situation, to me it was a master class of just. I sat back the entire day and watched him just in a tournament situation work. And I was trying to be a sponge as to why he threw this there, why he threw at those fish to begin with. So I would say experience. And I think, there's a lot of great guides that you can do that with on Lanier. I love Brooks. I'm biased with Kevin, those guys like that. But I just book a trip, pay attention, and tell him what you're looking for. Because that's the big thing with guides. Lots of people just get a guide to go fish, and they can put you on fish. You can go shallow and catch 2 pounders all day long. If you want to learn something specific, let him know ahead of time. Let your guide know ahead of time. And that's the best thing you can do is just get in the boat with him.
So I just subscribed to his Patreon.
Yep.
And we talked about prices on it earlier. It works out. You're just like you're on the boat with him. The juice he was dropping the other day, he was telling locations, what he was using, baits, everything. It's well worth the money.
Yeah. And we kind of figured it out for his monthly price. It would, over the course of a year, would equal about a trip.
That's right.
And he does those live. So,
Yes,
right, that's live.
live.
That's not him just going back, sitting at his boat, telling you what he caught. You're with him on the water.
Yeah, I mean, when he starts out in the morning, he walks you through. He's sitting on the deck of the boat talking to you, walking you through his thought process and everything, and then goes to fishing. So you're not just getting staring at the back of a guy fishing all day. You're actually getting some good juice.
So there you go. Maybe that might be it, Kevin. I want a percentage of your earnings right there. But yeah, go subscribe to his channel, or his Patreon.
Yep, it's Patreon.
Subscribe to his Patreon for a month. See if it's what's right for you, and do that. Ron Swinford says rock crawler and a crawl pattern and a DT10 and a shad pattern cover both bases. That DT10's getting. Hey, somebody? It was Farmer, wasn't it? Wasn't it Farmer Tony about the DT?
Yes.
You know what DT stands for?
Mm-mm.
You don't know what DT stands for?
No.
Dives 2.
Dives 2.
Farmer's like, I was this years old. He goes, I just always call it a DT. He goes, that's what it means. Dives 2, 10 feet. Did you know that, Kevin?
Yeah.
You did?
Sure.
Well, Farmer didn't. So, trolling motor was out of the water as much as it was in the water with the wind today. I get it. So it was probably rough out there. Cody says, I love my DTs. Where's that's all right. I go fast, baby.
No, it's the mouse not wanting to click right for some reason.
Is it?
Yeah,
It might
we're
be a
working
dead
through it.
battery. It might have to get you a new mouse battery. I love my DTs, but for the life of me, can't get confidence in a rock crawler or a wiggle wart. Now, a wiggle wart, that's the name for the past.
That's a good bait.
Yeah.
I've got some of the new ones ordered.
Do you got
Yeah.
some? Yeah.
Tight little wiggle.
One, and then how about this? Pull up Ron's, because we watched the video. Now, do you throw a rock crawler a lot?
Yeah.
DT or whatever. Do you do this? Because I watched a video on it. Once you hit the bottom of the rock crawler, a lot of your old timers will stop reeling and they will sweep their rod or something.
Yes, sir.
Some kind of thing like that. Do you do things like that?
I slow it down or stop it.
Slow it down and
And
stop
a lot
it?
of those bites happen when you do that.
Yeah. And it was an old video. A guy was throwing a wiggle wart. This video was on YouTube, made from like 2008 or something, like when it first came out, and Ken Pruitt showed it to me. But that's what he would do. He would reel till he got to the bottom, and then he would just take his rod and sweep it, and then reel it again back down, and then sweep it. It was pretty interesting. Anybody do the kneel and reel?
Never done it.
What the hell is that?
Get the bait down deeper and put your rod in the water. I mean,
Oh,
I've seen a lot of
okay,
folks do
okay.
that.
Do you do that, Kevin?
Nope, I do not.
would you be opposed to doing it?
Who was it? Elias? Paul
Yes,
Elias
yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
And that was
He won a tournament doing that.
Lake Falcon.
I think it was Big Fish Lake.
Lake
Yeah.
Falcon.
If you do that, then
Mexico,
you're
right.
basically
Back then they didn't have crankbaits that went very deep, and he was putting that rod down another 4 feet, 5 feet in the water.
Trying to get it down.
Bill Norman or something.
So do you have to? So for somebody that's not familiar with that, when you do that, you're basically there's no hook set involved whatsoever. That fish is hooking itself, right? Because I mean you can't,
a lot.
because you really can't get much if your rod's in the water. You're not getting much into it.
He's cranking like hell to keep it down there too.
Yeah.
So he's coming fast. That's not
Yeah.
a slow technique.
No.
Farmer says DT8 from January to March, and Cody says I think Elias did it before deep divers. Paul Elias won a Bassmaster Classic with that technique. And Farmer goes, I do won a couple on Alatoona doing that. Well, Farmer, how's the hook set with that? I guess it's just, you're letting the rod do the work and the fish. Back to Saturday, we did mention it's going to be like 52 degrees in the afternoon. So it is going to warm up from a cold morning. Probably it'll be warmer than it was today. I don't think we hit the 52 today or whatever we might, or tomorrow's going to be really cold. How will the fishing for you change from, say, blast off to 10 o'clock, and then as the weather warms up during the day, will you be making any changes, or are you going to kind of stick to a pattern all day long?
Yeah, a lot of guys throw the crankbait all day long, have that much confidence in it, and do it. I will tend to probably put that damn thing up probably the first hour of the day, and I don't know why I do that a lot, but I've got more confidence in throwing the worm and the jig from 20 feet to the bank from 10 o'clock on to 3 o'clock, unless wind's a driving factor in that as well.
Is it supposed to be windy?
I don't think so.
No, tomorrow's supposed to be calm. I don't know what Saturday is.
5 miles an hour, I believe.
Is it?
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's not too bad.
I think it warms up to like 42 at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it won't be 3 or 4 o'clock before it gets
Yeah,
53,
it's
52.
So Dave Aldridge says the kneel and reel works. It just sucks when you get a bite. Makes sense. That was my thinking. Now, cameraman Cletus, you ever done this, Scott?
Never.
I've been Carolina rigging a rock crawler with a 1/8 ounce bullet weight and a small swivel.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Have you ever done that with any type of thing other than like a Cinco or anything?
No, just the worm.
Well, he does some odd things right there. So if any of you guys in the comment section have ever Carolina rigged a crankbait, let us know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Philip Hutchinson, has anyone ever figured a bass on a crank? I have never done that. I know we do. You do it in muskie fishing, trying to get those muskies. They'll fall up back to the boat. And if you do that figure eight enough before your shoulder falls off, sometimes that'll trigger a strike. I've never seen anybody do it with a bass.
I've never seen that. Seen videos of it.
He's a river guy. Must be a river thing right there. So, Farmer, all you can do is set the hook. Okay, all you can do setting the hook on the kneel and reel is to pull into them and speed up your reel handle. Okay, makes sense. Discover Bass Adventure. This is interesting right here. Right there.
Gotcha.
Yep, right there. Why not wrap lead wire onto the treble hook to make it sink? Now, I don't know what we're talking about right there. Did I miss a comment where we were talking?
No, but I used to
think
do
he's
that
talking
as
about
well.
Carolina rig.
Carolina rigging? Okay. Like with a crankbait?
I think that's what he's talking about.
I have no idea
When he
what
was
you're talking about there, Discover Bass, but
Jerkbait probably too.
a lot of guys do
But-
use
but-
it on
but
jerkbait.
They also use it on crankbaits and other things as well. I used to use it on a jerkbait, but now I just get the weights to stick on the bottom of the bait.
A lot simpler than having to wrap that lead wire around there. So he said, yeah. I don't even remember which one did I ask him. I guess the Carolina rig.
I think he was just talking about what cameraman Cletus said about the weight with the crankbait.
Oh,
Carolina
why
rig.
not just
Why
put
not
the
just put
weight
the lead
and do
weight?
that? I
Yeah.
guess that's a good question. Sometimes I got so much stuff going through this old head right here. I can't keep up with you guys sometimes
Because it would float behind.
because
Possibly that crankbait would be down way deep and it would float behind.
Mm-hmm.
make it a little bit easier on that. I guess so.
I'm guessing.
You can wrap the wire around the crankbait travel hooks to make it a suspending or slow sink bait. Works well during a shad kill. There's you some juice right there from Farmer. And then Ron says you can weight hooks. Well, let's see. Weight hooks to sink lures or make them more neutral floating
Absolutely.
like that. So do you think, how about, we didn't talk about the jerk bait. You think guys will be throwing a jerk bait this weekend?
I do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Is that what you're gonna throw, Tony?
It will be on the deck. I
Yeah, it'll
promise
be
you.
on the deck.
It'll be on the
Okay.
deck.
What are you targeting with the jerk bait this time of year? I mean, what I'm talking about? I know fish, of course. I'm talking about structure.
So
His answer
Yeah.
was gonna be fish. I know. That's why I cut his ass off.
I'm looking for, obviously rock, but this time of the year, I like the riprap. If I can find riprap somewhere,
Mhm.
I'll usually find some good fish hanging around there for the shallower bite, and then brush piles over top of brush piles. If I can get it to them, they'll be there.
What about you?
I'd go hunt for them with a scope. I mean, I wouldn't care where I was at. Just find a fish, throw at it, and target it, and see if I can get lucky. I mean, that's the way a lot of these things are happening right now too. I think.
Well, okay, but you're a 20-foot and shallower guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna start off in the morning, maybe cranking
Cranking or a worm, yes.
or a worm. What would make you get to a point and say, I'm gonna throw a jerk bait here?
I need a bigger fish. See if they react different. I need a bigger bite or something.
You think
If I'm catching them pretty decent on what I'm doing, I won't change a thing.
you won't change a thing?
No.
Okay, it's supposed to be sunny, correct? Or is it gonna be cloudy?
Sunny.
Gonna be sunny.
Yes, sir.
Will be post front.
Yeah. Tomorrow's front.
Tomorrow's the front, so you
Right
got
now,
post frontal
Front's
conditions.
coming in today. Yeah.
How's that gonna change the game?
First day of the front typically is not a problem. Second and third, we actually saw that if you watched the ABA, that cold front came in and shut those fish down. You didn't have a 20-pound bag in that tournament. That is very odd.
Yeah.
I don't think you had a 20-pound bag. You had some 18-pound bags repeat. We had one 19-pound bag. Good fishermen. But I just think that the front conditions and
But you don't think it'll affect us on this? And you think, well, it'd be second day if it's coming through now.
Mhm.
That'll be day 2 post front,
And the wind's going to lay off.
and the wind's
they'll
going.
still catch it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the ones that are
There's
gonna catch them,
no
are gonna catch
doubt
them.
they're going to catch
Yep.
these fish. What I talked to a buddy of mine the other day, and I mean no discredit at all when I say this, because I want to figure this out. Is I want to figure that live scope, minibite, and all that. But what amazes me, and I'm giving them credit, the younger generation right now seems to be dominating Lanier.
They are.
And they're very good at what they do.
Mhm.
Very good. And it's amazing to realize that you've got pre-forward facing sonar, all the big names, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paul Marks, Joey Nichols, all these guys, Driscoll, what have you. Point I'm trying to make is that these guys have had 20 to 25 years on Lake Lanier and have that experience and knowledge and can flat out catch them. The older guys.
Yeah.
Some of these younger kids, they're 16 and 17 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe Cooper and Hayden, Lane Parker. I mean, I can keep naming all these young, but I can't. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
I can't remember their names, but I know their damn faces, and they're always in the money. They got 2 years on the lake,
Mm-hmm.
2 years, and some of them now are fishing in their own boats and what have you. And yeah, they fished high school. They've had a lot of passed down knowledge, but individually, they're studs right now.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And so you take that and you try to absorb in your mind, man, I've been on that lake for 25 damn years, and I have caught maybe 20-pound bags in 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
These kids have been on the lake for 2 years, and they catch 20 pounds every time they come to a tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them credit, but I say to myself, why can't I go do that? And the reason is, it ain't easy, number one.
Right.
I ain't as good as them, but everybody wants to learn it and go try to win these tournaments, right? It's mind-boggling, man. But it keeps me going back, and I try to learn more of it. And it's amazing to see what these guys can do right now.
Right. So Anthony Hampton says you better join the forward-facing game, or you're fishing for second place.
Not even second anymore.
I will say this though, but here's something, because this gets brought up all the time. about younger, and I see the comment saying that if they didn't have their cheater boxes, they couldn't do it. I don't agree with that, because here's why. You take me at 9 years old back in the 80s, and you take a kid that's 9 years old right now and say this is the first time we've ever went fishing. The amount of information that a kid today has, he can go to YouTube, he can go whatever, and the amount of information we had back in the day, hell, they can absorb what it took us years to learn in weeks.
Yeah, correct.
And so I think that plays a large part in it too. It's not just that they got better technology, they do, but man, the amount of information the kids got, and that's not just in fishing, that's in everything. I mean, remember
Right at their fingertips. You're right.
It's so and
ours was trial and error.
Ours was trial and error. Think about YouTube. I mean,
well,
hell, you can rebuild a damn motor and not be a mechanic off of YouTube right now.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people just dismiss the younger generation as saying, well, they got forward facing sonar and that's all they're good at. I just think they're damn smarter than we are.
But we've got that same technology now too.
But we're stuck in our ways.
Information. Man, I'm trying to break it on the lake. I swear I am. It's amazing to see them do what they do.
I do. Cody Campbell, this is interesting right here. It's from a young kid. Hey, I'm 17. I don't like forward facing in tournaments, but I use it because you have to. I'd much rather go throw a spinner bait or crank rock. Well, I would tell you this. Listen, you got to have it, but keep learning that. Keep doing that spinner bait and crank and rock, because that makes you much more versatile. And you don't know what these tournament organizations are going to do with it here in a year or two. It might be where they do ban it across the board.
I think they play a better head game than we do.
Absolutely.
They're not afraid to mess with electronics. Well, I'm afraid if I screw something up, then I'm out there for an hour trying to get it back.
Right.
They don't have anybody they're trying to impress when they're out there fishing, because I'm only 18, 17 years old, where the older guys feel like I need to do something to beat these guys or beat the other guys.
You feel a little bit of pressure.
They have nothing to lose, so they can go for it.
Right.
And they do in their minds.
Well, just think about football. Think about the helmets back in the 60s and how the game was played, even in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the way the game's played now. It's faster, it's different, it's just things evolve. But I just don't like those kids that you mentioned. They probably would still be finishing pretty well up, even without all the technology. Does it help them some? Yeah, for sure. But again, older guys have it. I just think that they absorb energy and have so much energy. They absorb and have so much information that they can do in 2 years what it took a lot of guys 20 years.
That's right.
It's not the cheater box. It's the amount of information. And that's just and time on the water.
Like I said,
they're always on the water.
I absolutely love it. I don't think I can fish without it. I want to have it in my boat, right? But I want to learn it more. The other thing is that, these guys do have the information to get, but they've got to execute on it, man.
Well,
they have to execute, and they do.
Look what pull up Dave Aldridge's comment right there. Hayden Marbert won the Toyota Championship and was on Gunnersville the next day practicing time on the water.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And kids date differently these days too. We were out chasing girls. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. If we're being honest, at 16, 17 years old, Scott, what was you doing?
Yeah, I was out and about.
Out and about.
Now, I did do a lot of fishing and hunting. Without a doubt, I did that as well. But yeah. It was just a different time. Yeah, it was different time.
It was you couldn't FaceTime your girl.
Nope.
You had to go sit on her parents' couch for an hour and a half watching some god awful movie to make. I mean, I remember the day just to get a kiss at night. Like I gotta sit.
But
here's
something I thought was kind of comical, and it was you're proud of Paul Marks and everything that he's done, but he's won Turkey Bowl. I think this is his fourth time or third.
You talking about senior? Junior. You talking okay, junior? Yeah.
Senior's a different level as well, right?
He is. I went to high school with his mom.
Did you?
I did. She was a year behind me.
Shannon, I believe.
Shannon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually spoke to Branson today as well.
She probably don't remember me. Yeah. She was one of the cool kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the nerds off to the side right there. So
lost my train of thought.
That's all. We're talking about Paul Marks.
So
my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we're talking about all the young guns, right?
Right.
It's kind of funny. We hadn't seen Paul because he's been doing the pro thing, right? And he hasn't fished any of my tournaments. It's been a year since I've seen him. He shows up at the Turkey Bowl, and I've had 4 other tournaments prior. He's not there, and all these younger guys are winning. Paul came and said, "Hey, King's back."
Smack that ass, did he?
Yeah. Y'all watch this. He's a stud.
That
man.
kid, what I've been trying to put together before the end of the year is getting him and Emil on the show. Not so much to pick their brains, but to have kind of like a celebration that they're going to fish the elites. I mean, that's a big ass accomplishment.
Man, it's incredible.
But he's always fishing or hunting or something. I can't ever pin his ass down.
We need to get him in here.
Help me make that happen. Because Emil will come anytime I ask.
Right. We'll see what we can do. I don't know if I have any influence.
Put some. Well, he's at that point now where, like I don't know how much influence. I'm an elite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's at the pinnacle.
But how many more will we produce from Lanier? I mean, you've got Matt O'Connell that's doing phenomenal.
Probably one of the best.
Brooks Anderson.
Yeah.
Scooter Ligon. I mean, you've had all these young guns on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I think 20 years from now, or not that long, hell, maybe 4 or 5 years, you're going to have a whole new wave of Lanier young guns that are probably going to venture out and be pro levels.
That is my business model.
Strong.
When it comes to this podcast, if you pay attention to my guests, I have those young guys on far more than I have older guys. And it's not that I don't love you older guys. I'm one of you. But in 5 years, who are going to be the names that are going to be the household names? It's going to be this group you're talking about.
The group. That's a great point right there by Brian.
Yeah. How many 17 to 21-year-olds even had their own boats back then?
Well,
for the most part, the
John
majority
Boats,
did not.
Yeah, but
John Boat, farm pond.
Grew up on a pond, stuff like that. But these today have a lot more. You see a lot more of them at these tournaments.
Well, also too, I think from a parental perspective too. Now that you got scholarships, college, high school teams, we didn't have none of that stuff.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, and so now parents are like, "Oh, my kid doesn't need to hit a baseball to possibly get a college scholarship.
There's a lot
he can
more.
fish."
I think there's a hell of a lot more interest now than what there used to be.
I agree with you.
How do you think the Bassmasters no entry fees affects that? Because now these kids that couldn't go into that level can now actually fish that level from these areas.
Well, I still
got to pay to get there.
Yeah, so the opens are not free, right?
No,
unless you're Dylan Akins, and by gosh, you go win the college thing, and then they do that. But I think you got to make the investment still to get to it.
absolutely.
I don't know, because if you take the elites and you take all the guys that want to be professional anglers, that percentage is so small that they got to try to get to that level. It's still going to cost money. Tournaments are not free from the way up. I mean, you're still paying high school tournaments. I know there's entry fees, all that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how it affects the sport on a professional level from that. But I don't know. Yeah. So like 17, 21-year-old, we were putting the monies in our cars back then. Everybody wanted a big boom bass box in the back of it and all that stuff. Had to have the Cutlass with the T-tops.
They're chasing the dream, but how many of them do you think really realize to get to that level, they're not going to be making the money that they think they're going to be making because of what they're paying today?
Well, then it just begs
the top 10, maybe.
But begs the question: are you fishing for the love of it, or are you fishing for the money of it? I don't know.
He'll tell you, love doesn't pay bills.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, what's the sacrifice? I don't know. I mean, Emil and Paul. Yeah, that would be a good question to ask them.
Well, that was more the direction my comment went with the no entry fees. Is these younger guys are not going to see the drop in pay that the older guys are seeing, and you may get just that changeover.
But I think it will evolve to the younger generation, and it's a very small percentage of what you're saying. The ones that make the top 10, like you're saying, Kevin, they'll make money because of the social media,
Absolutely.
the advertising,
They have to find a way to get
stuff.
there, though.
They've got to. You're right. They've got to figure a way to get there. And
not only that, I'm talking about to get it on TV. We've got to find a better platform in order to get it where they're showing it on ESPN or ABC or something like that for 6-8 hours at a time, and not just the highlight where you see them catch a fish and then you don't see anything until you go to another fisherman and see him catch a fish.
Well, that's now you just get into dollar bills, and I think that's the $1 million question right now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
you put a lot of
the answer
money
to that.
behind something. That's got to come from somewhere.
Well, you look at golf. They're
Oh yeah.
they're $1 million purse.
We'll get the Arabs involved in fishing. They got all that oil money. Huh?
No, you got a great point.
Don't push that away because that could happen.
Well, it could. I mean, I was being serious because that had to be outside money coming in. I think I don't know. I'd be curious to what do you think about the MPFL this year? How do you think them guys are going to do?
Good.
You
I
think
do.
you think that's going to draw more attention to them doing away with it?
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of interest at first, and if it's successful, I think that you're going to see a success for them.
Yeah.
If they don't have the viewership and anything that's coming, it's going to be
That's
it'll be different. It'll be
that's going to be the canary in the room
Yeah.
this year, or whatever the hell it is when they take the bird in the cage, and if the gases are poisonous, the bird dies. That's how they used to figure out something was bad. I'm curious to see. I mean, I know some big names are coming, but at the end of the day, if what we watch as consumers is no different, I don't know. But you are right. It does take a ton of money to get to where those kids are going.
Absolutely.
It does take it. But take Dylan Akins. He went the college route, ended up winning, and now he's got his opens paid for. So he's got an opportunity now.
And he's got a degree.
Well, yeah. I assume he graduated. I think he said he graduated.
Steve's right. Steve Pinkston. Rolex ain't sponsoring fishing.
Hey, Steve.
Business models, man. You've got to have that support. And
Steve got Rolex money though.
Yeah.
He got them nuts going on. So canary in a coal mine. Thank you there, Richie Rock and Roll. All right. So with that, pretty much, I mean, give me your final take tonight, Scott, though, on what you think, how this tournament's going to play out one more time.
I think
That's going to be a great event.
I think you'll have 20-pound bags. It'll go deep into the weigh-in line. I'm thinking, 15 or more. I'm hoping to see that because it's time for her to produce. Lanier's going to produce some big bags.
She is. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys.
I think a young gun will win it.
You think a young gun will win it?
I do. I'm telling you, if Cooper and Hayden are fishing, they've got a real good shot. Carter Cunningham, real good shot. Scooter Ligon, Brooks Anderson. I don't know if Emil's fishing.
Emil is signed up and he's fishing.
Okay.
He has signed up.
All of the young guns right now are going to do very well. But don't let them be surprised when an old timer comes.
See, that's what I was getting. Do not let you deter that. Again, you got old Harold Grizzle going to be fishing them largemouth up there. Grizzle's going to be up there. He's going to be
big or go home.
Go big or go home. So I will say this, guys. Let's recap. Again, you can still sign up the morning of. Okay, bring $80 and a toy per angler. And again, if you're there, bring some cash. We got Maria's going to have coffee and sausage biscuits in the morning. The Etowah Church is going to be there with snacks and soft drinks in the afternoon. And then we got the raffle. $10 a ticket or $12 for $100 will give you a chance to win that $1,300 valued quail hunt at Big Cedar over in Cedartown. So that's awesome. And we'll have some other stuff. Prince for the win. I haven't seen him sign up yet. So if he's going to sign up, it'll be the morning of. I know Kaz Anderson's coming down. You're gonna have your guns, but nothing would tickle me more to see an old fart come across the stage.
Yeah, if Prince fishes, look out. If Paul Marks fishes, watch out.
We'll see. So you guys got to get there early. And again, if you're not fishing, still grab some toys, come out there. Weigh-in's going to start at around 3:00, and we'll be doing a podcast live. And we'd love just for you to come and even afterwards hang out, shake hands, meet some of you guys and all that. So again, Scott, thank you for coming down. I know during the week,
thanks for having me, man.
I know you're old. It's past your bedtime.
That's right.
It's past
Most of our
bedtime.
wives are at work tonight together, right?
I know it. There ain't no telling what they're doing. For those of you who don't know, Scott and my wife work together. They've worked together for quite a few years.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have them two together in one place for too long like this. So I know what you're dealing with, buddy. It's like that. So again, Tony, thanks for running the board.
Yes,
Did a hell of a job powering through that bad clicker back there. And Kevin, just for gracing us with your beauty and presence. And all
My
that.
pleasure.
Absolutely. It's awesome. So guys, hey, come see us this Saturday at the Toys for Tots tournament. And if you're not, and you're fishing elsewhere or whatever, first of all, as always, be safe. Enjoy your time out indoors. Next Tuesday night, Kyle Welcher, Drew Cook, and locally Sal Pinto will be on the show.
Nice.
So hell of a lineup like that. You guys enjoy your weekend. Go Dogs. We'll see you on the next one.